show, the Whitey show, the Whitey show.
Whitey show.
The Whitey show, the Whitey show.
Whitey show.
I'm the review who loves to say son of a bitch. The same review who hates most Nintendo shit. I'm the one who calls games what they are. I even own the 360 and hate Gears of War. Guy who spends his money on games, fucking cards. Just a funny guy who became a YouTube star.
Rome. Shadow of Rome is actually a pretty cool game in most sections. The problem is it came out the same time as Resident Evil 4, which is also made by Capcom. Not a smart idea, and a lot of people don't know of this little gem. It does have problems, and sadly it's not a 9 out of 10 game. But it has some really cool features, a unique battle system, and it just kicks ass to be a fucking gladiator, and you know that. Just go watch Gladiators, it's badass. So anyway, I'll get to every section as always, and hopefully you like what you see and you go on eBay, type it in, and buy this game. Shadow of Rome story is actually one of the best features of the game. You take two different guys, different approach to gameplay, I'll get into that later, and their stories are completely different but all the same goal. You play as the first guy, Agrippa, who is a warrior that enters the gladiatorial games. You also play as, excuse me as I get this wrong, Octavius, which is the nephew of Julius Caesar. Yes, everybody should know who Julius Caesar is. He is a pretty cool guy, and so is Agrippa. The story mainly centers around the whole Julius Caesar murder, and this starts up a lot of events for these two characters. And I actually love how they are best friends, and at the same time, their stories of what they have to do are totally different, and they all come together. I don't want to spoil everything, but plenty of twists, plenty of what the fuck moments. It's just a really well done story, and the dialogue and great voice acting really helps this game. The graphics are the best part of this game. Not to talk long about it, but the art style is very well done, very realistic tone. It's gritty, it's bloody, nasty. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love when you cut someone's arm off. It looks awesome. And the actual cutscenes are done with the in-game fighting engine look. So it looks great. There's really no complaints about the graphics, and the art style kicks ass. So it's easily the best part of this game is the graphics, and it really shines. The gameplay in Shadow of Rome is split into two sections. One you play as Agrippa, the other Octavius, as I said. One is basically raw-ass fighting, the other is stealth. I'll hit up the fighting first since it's the better section by far. You play as a gladiator. The actual combat isn't very hard or complex, it's actually pretty basic, but at the same time it's very brutal. When you swing the sword and hit them, it feels good to like slash and then like a super slash and you chop off their arm. What's also awesome is there's a lot of weapons. I'm talking about mace, a huge mace, fire, sword, dagger. Oh man, what else? The shickles or whatever sickles. I mean, they got a lot of stuff in here to you know, chop your enemies' hands, heads, and legs off. So you have plenty of fun doing that. It's brutal, very bloody, very cool. And though it can get frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, and some parts you will be really pissed off at. All in all, it's just so satisfying to break their head off. Just is. So there's plenty to do in the gladiatorial games, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with that. The weaker part of this game is Octavius' side, which is basically stealth. In every mission, you usually start talking to people on the streets, learning how to get inside the so-called castle, or whatever you want to call it. To do that, you need information or start a riot or so on. This slows down the gameplay, and although you get more of the story, the main story, with Octavius, it's just boring to play. It's very basic stealth. You pick up a weapon and hit them over the head and take their clothes, or you just sneak past them by, you know, crouching, and when they walk past you, go past them. It's very basic, very boring, and sometimes overly frustrating by adding a bunch of enemies in there just to make it annoying, so you have to exactly dodge at the exact second, and you really just want to smack the game for pissing you off. So this is sadly the worst part of the game, and I really wish that it was less of this and more of Agrippa's gameplay. Some say the Agrippa can get repetitive, but I never found chopping off someone's head or arms or stabbing them to death was repetitive. So it's up to you, but really, Agrippa's gameplay outshines Octavius. The enjoyability in Shadow Realm is pretty high. The game is around 15-16 hours. Pretty long for an action game if you ask me. It's only $25 at most now. I got it for 20. It's worth that $25, so definitely check it out. The voice acting is good, as I said. The actual dialogue is well written. I mean, there's really not too many complaints, except for, sadly, it can be so frustrating that you will go insane. No joke. There are some parts that really piss you off, and I've had to do them over, believe this, 11 times. That's a lot. And Octavius's stealth missions are not too fun, which brings down the score quite a bit. At the same time, the story is very well done. The graphics and style are kick-ass, and you really never get bored of chopping people's heads off and arms off. No joke. You have a great amount of weapons that you can work with, and it just feels real cool to play. So hopefully I covered enough so you can check out this game. At least rent it, but I say it's worth buying right now. I would say it was worth buying at full price if you're into Rome and the gladiators and everything. But now, even if you're not into Roman, times, I wasn't really. This game is so worth it. It's very fun. Only $25. Go pick it up, and don't miss out. Shadow of Rome gets a great score of 8. A few complaints, but it's definitely worth picking up.